Hello and welcome to ROWRAH in, well, sunny Cumbria for round 2 of the NKC 2023, one of the most historic and long-standing circuits in the country. Joe, what are we looking forward to this weekend? Because it's this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, for the NKC.
Yeah, well, 2 days of racing. We kick off with the first couple of heats today and then into tomorrow. We're at ROWRAH, Nick, and ROWRAH, did I mention that this is the first place I ever raced at? Here back in, well, you know, we've done it.
1871.
Whatever.
He was actually racing behind a horse and cart.
One of my favourite tracks. A little bit different now. ROWRAH is all about getting into and out of these hairpins. There are 3 what you would call hairpins, 180-degree turns, where it's all about carrying speed in, but just carrying enough speed to be able to optimise how you get out of them. And that also brings lots of opportunities for overtaking. We're in the entertainment business, Nick. It's all about overtaking for us in the NKC. And if the racing is half as good as what we saw at round 1 at Three Sisters, then we're in for a treat.
Yeah, I mean, of course, once again, we have a dry day, so the old tyre allocation, the tyre tactics will come into play. Some people have saved new sets from last time, some people won't. So we're going to see, I think, a bit of an ebb and flow compared to the previous races.
Yeah, I kind of love that about NKC. You've got 2 sets of tyres, 4 front tyres, 4 rear tyres that you've got to use across the whole season. That's completely different to other kart racing series, and it adds that element of, well, jeopardy, because if the sun continues to shine through 2023 and we don't have any wet race weekends, then by the time we get to round 6, we're going to be really struggling for grip. And here we are at round 2, we've got virtually new rubber. So whether or not you deploy the second set at this early stage, that might pay dividends now, but what's it going to be like when we get to round 6? So that that's the strategy, that's the tactical sort of usage of how we can play with our tyres. And we're in the UK, so who can plan the weather? Who knows what the weather's going to be?
When the snow comes tomorrow morning, well, it's enough of us to say what we think is going to happen, what may happen. What we need to do is have you finding out from the paddock what they think will happen.
Well, let's do that, because there's plenty of people to talk to who are actually willing to talk to us. NKC continues to grow, new competitors coming into the series, and this year 2023 sees Billy Edgecombe here, kart number 20 in junior Rotax. Billy, welcome to the NKC, round 2 already. How's this season going so far for you?
I'd say so far it's all right. We've had a few naff results, but we're quick, so hopefully we'll get there in some point.
Yeah, that's some would say that's motorsport, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's ups and downs. You're new to the NKC. What karting have you done before?
Well, I've been karting for 7 years. Last year we did Super 1, and then just sort of clubbies really, but yeah, we sort of tried this year.
So what's the main differences with the NKC and something like a national championship, like the Super 1 championship?
Well, I'd say with Super 1, obviously we've got qualifying, so with the mixed grids it's obviously a lot harder with the overtaking and getting through the pack, but I think that adds a bit of fun to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you think the mixed grids, and just to remind everybody, mixed grids mean you get to start at near the back, in the middle, and at the front of the grid in your heats. Does that kind of make things fairer? You find that, because with time qualifying, if you don't get that lap, you are going to be at the back all day. This gives it a much more fairer playing field.
I think, yeah, it does, but only thing I'd say with quali is it sort of puts you where you deserve to be, almost, so it's a lot easier for the race just to flow. But with the mixed grids, I think it adds a lot more like opportunities to it, and it gives like other drivers experiences where they possibly wouldn't if they had quali. And like you said, if you didn't get a lap in qualifying, then you ruined your weekend. Whereas if you've got mixed grids, then it's all down to luck really at the end of the day. So it's how well you can get through a pack.
Yeah, and I would imagine you really enjoy that, because it doesn't matter where you are, you're going to race with someone.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, you always find a battle somewhere, and like it's always just trying to get back to the front where I feel like I should be. So yeah, it's really fun.
What would you say to someone who's kind of on the fence and thinking about the NKC or thinking about doing another championship? What would you say to them to bring them to race with you?
I think NKC, it's run really well. The times are good. Obviously, with national championships, you have to have Friday testing. If you can't afford to be doing that, or you're in school, then obviously we get a Saturday test day here, so that makes it a lot better. And it's just a nice environment and nice places to race. Yeah, good calendar.
Thanks, Billy.
Cheers, mate.
Adam Rogers is one of those drivers in the NKC who's got a wealth of experience across the classes. Adam, you were the 100 UK champion and you've then transitioned to ROWRAH, and there you were 2022. The number 7 there on the front of the cart there, that means 7th in the championship.
That's right. Yeah, some might say beginner's luck, but after coming off the back of the 100 UK championship, we believe we'd be competitive, but I am on the older side of the grid. I'm in the Masters group, but it was a great year. It was the first time to try a different class because I've only ever done TKM. We raced back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then we had a 13-year gap, came back and did the 100 UK, which we won, and then thought we'd try ROWRAH. So it's been eye-opening, and we've had a good year, but we're hoping to build on it this year.
So, all right, we don't have 100 UK with us, but we've got TKM, and they're a very similar kart. What are the differences that are discernible between driving the 125cc ROWRAH kart and the TKM?
The most obvious thing for me was obviously it's a big power upgrade. You're going from 115cc to 125, and you've also got the power band, which takes a little bit of adapting to. Mid-corner, you're on the power, and then the power valve kicks in. It can really unsettle the kart. So that's been challenging on its own. Obviously, softer tyres, really changing your driving style. Because you've got to brake harder because you're going a lot faster. So it is really challenging to drive, and hats off to some of the other guys in the field as well. I keep saying my age, 36, but Paul Ozan's making that hard for me to use as an excuse. So, so the power and the grip really the main differences for me.
Right. The racing, pretty much the same. I mean, it's karting. It's so competitive, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. The racing is a lot closer. I think the tyres and the power do make up for a lot of people being in the same pace, which is another difference, I suppose, to TKM. You might get 4 or 5 quick drives in this, it could be 20, so it is a battle and a train, and you've just got to grind it out and keep out of trouble. That's another one. Just keep out of trouble.
I've spoken to another driver about the mixed grids in comparison to time qualifying. What's your preference?
If you'd have asked me after the 100 UK, I'd have said mixed grids all day long, but then after coming into ROWRAH in a bigger grid, probably in more mixed abilities, I would be keen to try the time qualifying, and I think that possibly it could maybe be better from a driving point of view, but maybe not from the spectator point of view, so I don't know which one's more important.
That's a key thing, Adam.
Yeah.
We're in the entertainment business.
Exactly.
Mixed grids are brilliant.
Exactly that.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.
Harry Wainwright has been perhaps becoming a stalwart of the NKC. We spoke to Harry last year. He's actually grown even a bit taller. I'm going to need a box if you continue growing, my boy. So, Harry, GCSE time, isn't it? And you missed practice yesterday because of more important things. Is that going to affect your weekend?
Hopefully not. No, we have had a good practice day so far. Yeah, just been changing things, trying to get used to setup and stuff. Had a good day. Yeah.
Now, just to remind everybody, Harry here is only 16 still?
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, hence the GCSEs. Now, Harry was growing far too quickly for a normal human, clearly. So he had to move into the seniors. He got dispensation, didn't you, to move into the seniors. You moved into the senior 162 class, but Harry continued to grow. And here we are this year in the 177 class. So that's the heavier category, because as you can see, Harry's a big and tall lad. Any major difference between the 162s and the 177s, what you found?
Not really, no. The racing, I think, is still as close, and it's still really good, and I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so no difference. Did you find any major difference when you moved from the junior category into seniors? Because you were too young, effectively, to be in seniors, weren't you?
Yeah, it was more just the speed, getting used to that, really. That was the thing that was more difficult to get used to, and then after that, we just kept working on it, and then, yeah, we're getting on all right now, so yeah, I'm happy with where we're at.
So yeah, what you mean, Harry, is in juniors, the engine's slightly restricted, isn't it? So you could really feel the difference when you've stepped into a senior kart.
Yes, definitely, yeah. It's a big change, but yeah, I'm definitely really enjoying it.
Yeah, and I've got to ask you, how the GCSEs going then?
Yeah, they're going good. I've had about 4 so far, and they're all going well, so yeah, I'm happy with them, yeah.
What's your favourite subject?
Probably geography.
Geography, well, if you stay in motorsport, you're going to travel a lot, so that's going to come in useful. Thanks, Harry. Best of luck for the weekend, mate. Thanks again for talking to us.
Thank you.
100 TKM is perhaps one of the most competitive classes here in the NKC, and Molly Biles here is right in the thick of it. Molly, 100 TKM. It's a great class. You're obviously enjoying it.
Yeah, it's great. Sort of in the middle of the pack at the moment, but I'm hoping that sometime by the end of the season I'll get running up the front, but it's just a case of catching them, seeing if I can keep up with them, following their lines, seeing what tricks they're doing, because everyone's got their own sorts of tricks. And then just going from there, really. Seat time is always good.
Yeah, so you think that there's more time to come from yourself rather than relying upon Dad who's mechanicking?
Yeah, we do we do changes every now and then. I mean, we've come back from a race and instantly we're making changes based on what I went out on. But at the end of the day, it's who you're battling with on track. So if I'm stuck at the front, obviously I've got to make changes to keep up with them. But at the moment, I've got to keep up with the middle pack to then get further. So it's just doing it step by step to get better and better and better.
Yeah. It looks absolutely chaotic when you're standing on the sidelines, as we are. Is it as chaotic from the driver's seat?
It can be. The first few laps are definitely always a bit of chaos. You never know who's going to come up the inside of you and surprise you. You might get a tack on the behind sort of thing. But after a few laps, it sort of fizzles itself out and it's all right.
Yeah, when it settles down. Now, Molly, you were telling me that for a living you are an apprentice motor vehicle technician, is it?
Yeah, Mercedes apprentice technician.
Yeah, so I was an apprentice. I wasn't a Mercedes technician, but we called it mechanics, as me and your dad called it being a mechanic. So what old school exactly, Dad? What exactly are you training to be? You know, are we looking at sort of the age where you're going to be servicing Mercedes and stuff?
Yeah, definitely. Well, at the moment, my mentor lets me do services. So, I mean, I'm only about 8 months in, but I can do services on my own. But the future is to be able to take apart cells, like individual cells in high voltage batteries and replace them, which is sort of where the future's going. But we've already had to replace a few at work. But my mentor's doing training to actually physically take out the cell and replace it with a new one. Right. So sort of doing in-depth servicing on the batteries instead of replacing the whole kit, because it's about 16 grand for a new high voltage battery.
Right, and is your dealership, are you seeing more and more EV vehicles coming through the workshop than you do fossil fuels?
Yeah, well, we get the odd fossil fuel car come through for services and all of that, but mainly it's the electric cars coming in with faults with the chargers and the batteries and stuff. But with the technology that we've got, it's quite easy to diagnose what the problem is.
Right. What do you mean by that? You see, you said that as if like I should know what that means. What do you mean it's easier to diagnose?
Well, we've got a system called Whiz, which is like a subscription software, and we plug like a multiplexer into the OBD port of the car, and it reads all the data from all the different control units. So we get to see what control unit is doing what fault, what's going on where, what's linked to each other. We get wiring diagrams, get absolutely everything to work on the car.
Right, so that's basically a computer tells you everything that's going on in there.
Yeah, basically, a computer just tells you how it works.
Wow, so EV the future? Without getting too controversial. Remember what you do for a living and who you work for.
It's definitely going somewhere, but there's potential that it could fall through in a few years.
Right, so your training is purely to do with EV then, electric vehicles. Are you taught about the Otto cycle? Are you taught about are you taught about pistons and fuels?
Yeah, we do get taught about that because we need to know all the basics anyway, because at some point we get old classic cars coming in and the old 2004 car that's a rust bucket. Yeah. So we do need to know all of that stuff. So yeah, we do get taught about the Otto cycle and all the other stuff. Everything else to do with petrol cars and diesels.
Well, this is a two-stroke, isn't it? Tell us a little bit about the TKM engine there. It's a single-cylinder two-stroke. What else can you tell us?
I think roughly all the karts on the grid are about 115cc. Obviously some people tune theirs to the limits. They might be a little bit more, a little bit less. But 9 times out of 10 they're 115cc. At the last race at Wigan I topped about 70 mile an hour going down the back straight, which is obviously quite a lot. I think here I've topped at about 60. But they're quite aggressive karts. The engines are very much full of vibrations and life. So you do sort of become one with the kart when you're driving around. But then again it depends on what chassis you're running and where you get your engines built, how the car actually handles on circuit, because the different firmness of the chassis really depends on what your driving style is.
And training as a technician, Molly, you've obviously got a bit of a, we're all geeks here together, aren't we, in karting and motorsport, so you're obviously getting, you're interested in that side of things as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think in the interview room, I was the only person that had any sort of links to motorsport, so I think they sort of sided with me a little bit to go, oh yeah, she's interested in karting and stuff, we'll have her on. Yeah. So I think it does help, but it is interesting as well because I do really enjoy it, and I really enjoy working on cars as well, even if for most of the days I'm standing watching my mentor do wiring and fiddling about with a soldering iron most days.
Yeah.
It's still really interesting to do.
And your mechanic's all right, is he?
Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
Where's he gone, by the way? Oh, there he is, just relaxing. It's her dad, everybody. Thanks, Molly. Best of luck with your career as a Mercedes engineer. I drive a Mercedes, but I'm old school. I've got the rust bucket from 2004.
Yeah, it's all right.
If you're a follower of the NKC Championship at Wilton Mills round last year, we saw a very nasty accident that involved this man here, Mike Edwards. Mike, it's great to see you back. You had a very, very nasty looking accident where you broke a leg. You took the rest of the season out, which was a shame. Tell me, what was the recovery like, etc., etc.?
Yeah, the recovery was long, and like a lot of time off work and laying up on your back and sort of losing money and whatnot. But yeah, we got through it. 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, the pain only lasted a week. It was more the pain of not getting back to it.
Well, talking about getting back to it, some would say, how crazy are you to then get back into one of these things and continue to race?
Yeah, and then to get a pole for my first race at Wigan. Yeah. It was the bumhole was going a little bit.
So you didn't lose it. You didn't forget it. How to do it?
It was a test for myself, I think. You know, going back to Wigan just to test to see if, to see if I still want to do it. But as soon as the green flag dropped, I forgot about the crash.
So the psychology of it, Mike, then is that you've got so much happening when you sat in a seat of a cart that the last thing on your mind is that what happened at Wilton.
The only thing on my mind up until I sat in the cart, and then as soon as that flag drops, you just forget about everything, and all you want to do is try and make places, which I didn't. But we'll get there. I think we'll get back there.
Well, I thought you came back with a massive bang, the right kind of bang at Three Sisters. How's ROWRAH for you? Do you like this place?
Yeah, I love ROWRAH. Last year, absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's picturesque. Look, it's to look at, to drive it.
On a day like today,
the views are brilliant. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Yeah, can't complain at all.
Now, Mike Edwards Motorsport, you're a big supporter of NKC.
Yeah, we actually do exhaust systems for everything but go-karts.
Right.
But we sponsor different drivers in different formulas and different sorts of sport, and we don't get nothing back for it. So I sort of thought, why not put into what we're coming to do and what's given to us, and give back to what's given to us, really. Obviously, a team of lads here and all the boys, we just started this for a little bit of fun. We all run around at midfield and we enjoy ourselves, and we hope that if we can get in the A final, it's an achievement. We're not here kidding ourselves to know that we're gonna be winning anything. So yeah.
I think the majority of people go racing for that very reason. Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about your business there, Edwards Motorsport. So you mentioned exhaust there. Is that sort of performance exhaust erring towards that? And is it road cars or is it track cars?
So it's predominantly it is race cars from WRC, Le Mans, circuit cars, touring cars. We do, from them levels of motorsport all the way down to your clubmen and your sort of just guys that just want to have a little bit of fun and buy a car and have a play around. All stainless steel exhaust systems. Yeah, look us up. It's good for performance, good for the look of all these sort of styling cars and hot roddy type setups. For people that aren't racing. Yeah, that's all what we're about, really.
So you could say, Mike, you're living the dream, because your real life job is working in motor racing.
Yeah, living what we work and working what we live. Yeah. Yeah, it's not always a dream, but yeah, it's as good as it's better than what some people do for work. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mike, it's great to see you back. I'm really happy to see you back, and best luck for the rest of the season. Just don't do it again.
I'll try not to.
NKC is where Minimax has found a home for 2023. It's a class of karts that the MSUK kind of ruled out for many, many reasons we're not going to go into now. But these two youngsters here, Eddie Stewart and Sonny Morgan, these guys are really enjoying Minimax. Eddie, I'll start with you. What a fabulous name. Look at this, Stewart. That's a great, legendary motorsport name. Eddie, you're in Minimax. Any particular reason? Is that down to your age?
Age and weight, really.
Yeah.
We can't really fit in the Intermax 950 karts, so Minimax was our only shots at NKC, really.
So how old are you, Eddie?
I'm 11 years old.
And Sonny Morgan, almost pulled off a win at Three Sisters, but it was really, really tight. Yourself and Seb Corkin were fantastic racing at the end, Sonny. How old are you? Start with that one.
I'm 13, but I'm turning 14 in about 3 weeks, I think. Yeah.
All right, 3 weeks. What's on your birthday list?
New pair of gloves.
I knew it would be car related. Sonny, what brings you to Mini Max then? Why are you in this class?
Well, I think I should be in juniors really, looking at the size of me compared to Eddie. I'm really tall and my age, but Junior Max is a massive grid this year, so we're just keeping in minis for this year, and next year we're going to make the move up to maybe Junior Max or Junior TKM.
Right. Eddie, some say that Mini Max is too fast for a driver your age. What would you say to that?
I disagree.
Yeah. Why do you disagree then? Tell me.
I like speed. I've been into karting since I was younger, and I think speed's really good. And I like speed, really. That's all.
Sonny, they're a very physical kart, aren't they? I mean, you've got people who have come from cadets and then they jump into a Mini-Max kart because of their age, and the grip level from these wide axle Mini-Max karts, it's massive, isn't it? Are you coping?
Yeah, well, we're doing all right, but this track is really physical with the curbs. Like yesterday, we had to put more padding on the seat because I was just getting thrown around in the seat, and it's so physical, yeah. Really tough.
Yeah. So then, boys, I'm going to ask you a tough one. Who's going to win this weekend?
Me.
Yeah, I'd like to say me, but I think there's a lot of locals here as well. But it's my first time here, but I'd like me to win, yeah.
That's the spirit. Thanks, boys. Thank you very much, and best of luck.
Thank you.